The QuickEMR check-in kiosk is designed to streamline the patient's arrival process and reduce the front desk workload. Using the kiosk, patients can check in for their scheduled appointments, securely pay their copay through Gravity payments, and electronically sign for their scheduled appointment visit. The check-in kiosk can easily be turned on, set up, and utilized by your practice in just a few easy steps. The first thing you will need to do is enable the check-in kiosk. To do this, you will first need to navigate to Settings, Portal, Check-in Kiosk. Once there, check off the box for Enable the Check-in Kiosk and press the Save button. While here, you can select other settings that dictate how you want the check-in kiosk to function. For instance, check off copay warning if you would like a message to be sent to a specific user, such as a front office staff, which will warn them that a patient owes a copay for their visit. If your practice uses Gravity payments, you can also check off Accept Copay on check-in to collect their payment at the kiosk. Finally, check off Collect Signatures to collect the patient's signature upon their check-in for their scheduled appointment. Now that the patient check-in kiosk is turned on and set up to your liking, you can now set the kiosk up on an in-house device such as a tablet, iPad, or even another computer. To do this, you will first need to navigate to Connect, Check-in Kiosk. Once there, you will see that there are two methods to set up the kiosk. First, if the utilized device contains a camera, you may scan the QR code that's provided, which will expedite the setup process. The second option is to open the web browser on your device and enter the URL provided. Once the website opens, you will first need to enter your practice's client code, followed by the provided PIN number. Once that's entered, the device is now ready to be used by patients to check in for their scheduled appointments. When the patient uses the check-in kiosk, they will first need to enter their last name and date of birth. The system will use this information to compare to the patient's information within your system's appointment book, ensuring that the patient is in fact scheduled for a visit on this day. They will also need to check the box off to consent to an electronic signature and sign their name using either a stylus, mouse, finger, or whatever your on-site device requires. If copay acceptance is turned on in the check-in kiosk settings, then the patient will then be prompted for their payment information. They can then either utilize a saved payment method, one that has been saved by the practice within their patient's case file, or they can choose to enter their own billing address information. Then, the patient will select if they are going to manually enter the card information or if they will utilize an on-site payment device. If the payment device is selected, they will then follow the on-screen prompts to swipe their card to complete the payment. If manual entry is selected, then they will be prompted to enter that information within the newly opened window. Once the information is entered correctly, they will press the Pay button. The payment will then be processed and the patient will be checked in for their scheduled appointment. Once the patient has successfully checked in for their scheduled appointment, the check-in status will reflect on the scheduler immediately. This will reflect whichever status color you have selected for check-in within your schedule settings. This associated check-in color can be adjusted if needed under Settings, Scheduler. If the patient paid a copay, that payment will also be viewable on the Payments tab within their case file. This will show that the payment was accepted, the type of payment and the payment amount, as well as that the payment was made during the check-in process.